Hi everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Leveling Up Learning, Reflections in Technology Integration through SAMR. My name is Sophia, and today I'm going to reflect on some of my biggest takeaways from my technology integration course, especially about how the SAMR model shaped the way I think about using technology in the classroom. So first, I want to start with what the SAMR model actually helped me to realize. Before this class, I honestly thought using technology in the classroom just meant adding things like PowerPoints, videos, and online assignments. But throughout this course, I learned that there are actually different levels to technology use, and the SAMR model stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. And it basically shows how technology can go from just replacing something to completely transforming learning. One of my biggest takeaways is that not all technology use is meaningful. Just because you're using a computer or an app doesn't mean students are learning better. Like, for example, substitution might look like turning a worksheet into a Google Doc, which is fine, but it's not really changing the learning experience. And so what really stood out to me was the idea of modification and redefinition, where technology allows students to do things they literally couldn't do before, like collaborating in real time, creating multimedia projects, or connecting with people outside of the classroom. Another major takeaway for me was how technology can really support engagement and differentiation. In my projects, I used different tools that allowed students to learn different ways that fit them better, whether that's something visual, interactive, or more self-paced. Technology can give students more choice, which makes learning more meaningful, but at the same time, I also realized that teachers really need to be intentional. The tool itself doesn't make the lesson better, it's how we use it can really change the outcome so much. I also want to talk a little bit about AI in education and digital citizenship, because that was another big theme in this course. AI tools like ChatGPT can actually be really helpful for both teachers and students. For example, they can help with brainstorming, explaining concepts, and giving feedback. But they're all definitely challenges too. Students have to need to understand how to use AI responsibly and not rely on it to do all their thinking. And that's where digital citizenship comes in, teaching students how to use technology ethically and responsibly in a way that actually supports their learning. And so, speaking of challenges, it's something that I think is really important to acknowledge. Technology isn't perfect, and there are real challenges that come with it using it in the classroom. And a big one is equity. Not all students have the same access to devices or internet, which can create gaps in learning. And yes, we have, like, some schools may have like all Chromebooks for students, but it's still hard to replicate that outside of the classroom, and having them get used to that in the classroom, I feel it can create big differences. So that's one challenge. Another one is over-reliance on technology. If everything's digital, students might lose important skills in critical thinking or face-to-face communication. And there's another classroom management technology can be distracting if it's not used intentionally. So kind of just the same thing all over is, I feel like that technology just has that one big miscommunication, is that we can get too comfortable with it. But however, I think with those challenges, the opportunities outweigh when technology is used in the right way. It can make learning more engaging, more personalized, and more connected to the real world. It also prepares students for the future, since technology is such a big part of everyday life now and in this generation. But looking back at this course as a whole, I think one of the most meaningful things I learned is to be intentional with my teaching. The SAMR model isn't about always reaching the highest level, it's about choosing the right level for the learning goal. Sometimes substitution is completely fine, and other times you want to push into transformation. It all depends on what you want students to get out of the lesson. As a future educator, this course really changed how I think about lesson planning. Instead of asking, what technology can I use? Now I'm asking, how can technology actually improve this learning experience? That shift in mindset is probably the biggest thing I'm taking away. And just to wrap up all my final thoughts, technology integration isn't just about using tools, it's about creating meaningful lesson and learning experiences. The SAMR model helped me to see there's a difference between using technology and using it well. Moving forward, I want to focus on using technology in ways that truly engages students, supports different learning needs, and push learning beyond what's possible without it. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.